image, the highway stretched endlessly through the cold Oklahoma night. Rain tapped softly against the windshield of Karen Silkwood's small car as she drove alone toward Oklahoma City on November 13th, 1974. The darkness around her felt heavy, almost watching. In the passenger seat beside her rested a folder filled with documents, papers she believed could expose dangerous secrets hidden inside a nuclear plant. Karen gripped the steering wheel tightly. She had no idea this would be the final drive of her life. Karen Silkwood was not famous when the story began. She was an ordinary worker at the Kerr-McGee nuclear facility in Crescent, Oklahoma. The plant processed plutonium, one of the most dangerous radioactive substances in the world. The work paid well, but strange things had started happening inside the plant. Workers whispered about missing materials, unsafe procedures, and contamination problems. Some employees feared the company was ignoring serious dangers to save money. Karen became deeply involved in the labor union at the plant. At first, she simply wanted safer conditions for workers, but over time she began collecting information. Documents, statements, evidence. The more she learned, the more worried she became. According to friends, Karen believed radioactive contamination inside the facility was being hidden. She reportedly told others that safety inspections were incomplete and records may have been falsified. Then the contamination incidents began. One day, tests showed Karen herself had been exposed to plutonium. The discovery terrified everyone. Plutonium was no ordinary chemical. Tiny particles entering the human body could remain radioactive for years. Workers wore protective clothing, passed through radiation monitors, and followed strict procedures to avoid contamination. Yet somehow Karen repeatedly tested positive. At first, investigators assumed the contamination happened accidentally at work, but the mystery quickly deepened. On one occasion, radioactive material was allegedly found inside Karen's own apartment, on furniture, food, even the bathroom walls. How had it gotten there? Some believed Karen accidentally contaminated herself while handling materials at work. Others believed something far darker. Karen herself reportedly suspected she was being targeted. The fear surrounding her life grew stronger with every passing week. Despite everything, Karen refused to stay silent. She contacted journalists, she gathered records, she prepared to expose what she believed was a dangerous truth hidden inside the nuclear industry. Friends later said Karen planned to meet a reporter from the New York Times and union representatives on the night she died. She intended to hand over important documents, but she never arrived. Late that evening, Karen drove south along a lonely road near Crescent, Oklahoma. Another driver later reported seeing her car moving strangely before suddenly leaving the highway. The vehicle crashed violently into a concrete culvert. Karen Silkwood died instantly. Police initially ruled the crash an accident, but almost immediately, strange details began raising questions. When investigators searched the wreckage, the documents Karen had reportedly been carrying were missing. Gone. No briefcase, no folder, no evidence. Friends and union members found this deeply suspicious. Karen had supposedly left home carrying sensitive papers connected to her allegations against the nuclear facility. So where did they go? The mystery exploded across America. Some believed Karen simply fell asleep at the wheel. Others insisted she had been forced off the road. A few even suspected murder. Investigators examined the crash scene carefully. Certain reports suggested another vehicle may have struck Karen's car from behind shortly before the accident, but evidence remained unclear. The deeper people looked into the case, the stranger it became. Questions surrounded nearly every part of Karen's final days. How had she become contaminated multiple times? Why were the documents missing? Was someone following her? Had she uncovered information powerful people wanted hidden? Or had fear and stress simply created paranoia around a tragic accident? No one could fully agree. The controversy continued through the late 1970s as journalists, activists, and lawyers kept digging into the story. Karen Silkwood became a symbol for whistleblowers, people who risk everything to expose secrets. For many Americans, her death represented something terrifying. The possibility that ordinary workers could disappear while fighting powerful corporations. Lawsuits followed for years after her death. Her family challenged Kerr-McGee in court, arguing the company failed to protect her from contamination. The legal battles attracted national attention. Meanwhile, conspiracy theories spread everywhere. Some claimed government agencies were involved because nuclear technology was highly sensitive during the Cold War era. Others blamed corporate cover-ups. Still others believed organized groups inside the industry silenced Karen before she could reveal damaging information. But no theory was ever proven conclusively, and so the mystery survived. Even decades later, people still debate what truly happened on that lonely Oklahoma highway. Was Karen Silkwood the victim of a tragic accident, or was she silenced because she knew too much? Perhaps the most haunting part of the story is not just her death, but the missing documents, because if those papers truly existed, someone may have taken them from the crash scene before authorities arrived. And if that happened, it means Karen's final secret disappeared with her into the darkness of that rainy November night. The case inspired books, investigations, and eventually the famous film Silkwood starring Meryl Streep. But movies could never fully answer the mystery. In the end, Karen Silkwood's story remains suspended somewhere between fact and fear. A woman drives alone through the night carrying documents that could expose dangerous truths. She never reaches her destination. The papers vanish, and America is left wondering what really happened on that dark Oklahoma road. Nearly 50 years later, the silence surrounding the case still feels unsettling, because some mysteries fade with time, but others continue whispering long after the road grows empty.